Well, joining me now from Melbourne for more on that $2 billion deal announced by the Prime Minister is Asialink business CEO Leigh Howard. Leigh, do appreciate your time here on the program. Can you just talk me through the significance of this announcement from the Prime Minister? No doubt he was pretty keen to make that figure as big as possible while having all these leaders in town.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be with you. This really forms a big part of the Southeast Asia economic strategy to 2040 that the government engaged ex-Macquarie banker Nicholas Moore to develop. And the strategy was released late last year with a series of 75 recommendations. What's really noticeable about Australia's relationship with Southeast Asia on the economic front is our trade relationship means that they're our second largest trading partner after China, but our investment into the region is quite anemic by comparison. So out of our total share of outbound investment to the world, just over 3% goes to Southeast Asia despite its proximity and size. And of course, the scale of economic growth in Southeast Asia is only continuing. They've got some of the highest growth rates in the world. So there's a sense that our investment's really underdone, and that's starting to impact our broader relationship in other ways. So this was a marker, if you like, to achieve material growth in Australia's investment relationship with Southeast Asia.
Has there been a bit of a blockage or an impediment for businesses trying to get into some of those Southeast Asian nations?
Look, there's always reasons why it's hard or why it's difficult. You can look at a range of risks with any landscape around doing investment, whether it's regulatory, whether it's governance, whether it's just deals being available to do. But the government's said this is a priority, this is something they need to back in, and hence the development of this $2 billion fund that's been announced today. More details to follow on the mechanisms around the fund, how it will work, but it's really designed to do a couple of things. One is to specifically identify deals for Australian businesses to invest in Southeast Asia, particularly around green energy and infrastructure as the region builds out, and also pursues its own goals around net zero. But to build the capacity or to create the pathways, if you like, for more private sector investment to come in. So if the government plays its role in terms of identifying potential deals, what are the investment models, and then showing some successes, then there's a belief that that will bring in more private sector investment to the region as well.
Will it just be Australia underwriting this financing facility?
Yeah, so the fund's been established now by the government. That's the announcement today. What's interesting is that this fund will be administered by Export Finance Australia, and they've got cheap carriage for running the facility. There has been a similar funding facility outlined by Australia before, about 5 years ago, for the Pacific region, but that one's administered by our Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. So this one's going to have a solid commercial orientation with the EFA administering it.
And Leigh, have you been down at the summit? If so, what's the mood among business leaders about this event?
I have been at the summit. I'm having a little bit of respite now. It's been quite frenetic. Yesterday, there was a range of sessions taking place. There was an SME conference. There was a climate and clean energy track, an emerging leaders track. There was also, various bilateral meetings and side track meetings taking place. This is all falling under a program called ASEAN Australia Week that runs a lot parallel to the main summit. So it's been a lot of activity. Look, I would characterise a lot of what's taking place as a call to action by the government to Australian business. They're really putting Australian business on notice and saying you need to take a second look at Southeast Asia. The numbers themselves are compelling, but there are relationships there to be built out. There's more opportunity around diversification. There's opportunities around emerging industries like the green economy, like digital, and they build on our traditional sectors in resources, agriculture, education. It's a really booming region, so I can understand a lot why the government said we need to take a second look.
Leigh Howard from Asialink Business, much appreciated. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.